Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Vox Agent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something really powerful that's quickly reshaping how businesses operate. We're talking about how AI agents are getting incredibly smart by using something called data products. Our mission for you, the listener, is to help you quickly grasp how putting these two concepts together, autonomous AI and really well-organized data, is creating a serious competitive edge. And yeah, this deep dive is based on some of the latest research and executive summaries looking right at this intersection. Okay, so let's unpack this. Before we get into how they connect, maybe we should define these terms clearly. What exactly is agentic AI? And what are data products?
Absolutely. Good place to start. So agentic AI, think of it as AI systems that are, well, autonomous. They can proactively figure things out, reason, plan, and then act to achieve goals. And crucially, with minimal human handholding.
Like digital employees almost.
Yep, exactly. Like superpowered digital employees. The AI agents are the programs doing the work. They use things like large language models, LLMs, plus reasoning abilities and tools to perceive their context and then act. A really critical piece here is their contextual awareness. They're designed to pull information from lots of different places to make informed decisions. They don't operate in a vacuum.
Okay, that makes sense. And data products, how are they different from just data?
Right, good question. Data products are a more modern way to think about managing data assets. Instead of just raw data sitting somewhere, a data product is data that's been deliberately packaged for consumption.
Packaged how?
It means it's reusable, has clear ownership, who's responsible for it, plus built-in quality controls, metadata explaining what it is, and a clear interface for accessing it. Often an API, or maybe it's discoverable in a marketplace.
So it's treated like an actual product.
Precisely. Product thinking applied to data. It makes it reliable, focus on a specific need. Think of a curated customer 360 database, or a real-time feed of sales metrics, or maybe a searchable knowledge base of company policies.
Those sound like concrete examples.
Yeah, they are. And they're ready for humans, sure, but increasingly they're designed for AI agents to consume directly. And going back to that contextual awareness for agents, memory is key.
Ah, right. You mentioned memory.
Yeah, just like us, agents need memory. There's short-term memory, or STM, think of the context in an ongoing chat, often limited by the LLM's context window, maybe 8K or 32K tokens. And then there's long-term memory, LTM. This is persistent knowledge stored outside the agent, maybe in databases or vector stores, so it survives between interactions.
Without that, they'd just forget everything.
Pretty much, like Dory, as you said. They couldn't handle complex tasks or learn over time. Memory is absolutely fundamental for truly useful autonomous agents.
Fascinating. So this integration, agents using data products, didn't just happen overnight, did it? How did this evolve?
No, definitely not. Early AI often had these fixed, static knowledge bases. Very limited, quickly outdated.
Yay.
A big step forward was Retrieval Augmented Generation, R. That allowed models to look up external documents to ground their answers in facts.
I've heard of RAG.
Yeah, but traditional RAG was often like a one-time lookup. The newer thing is agentic RAG.
Agentic RAG.
Yeah, where the AI agent iteratively fetches information, reasons about it, maybe asks follow-up questions to the data source, refining its understanding over multiple steps. It's more like a dialogue with the data.
Okay, that sounds much more powerful.
It is. And at the same time, you had the whole data mesh idea gaining traction in enterprises.
Treating data as products, like you said?
Exactly. Organizing data into these manageable own products made it much easier for anything to consume it reliably, including AI. Then generative AI just poured fuel on the fire. Gen AI applications themselves, like an auto-generated report, are data products in a way. And now AI agents are becoming, you could say, first-class consumers of data products. They're designed from the ground up to plug into these data streams and use them effectively.
So what kinds of data products are these agents actually plugging into? What information fuels them?
Oh, a whole range. It depends on the agent's job, really. You've got your classic structured data products.
Like databases?
Yeah, relational databases, data warehouses, think CRM data, inventory records. An agent might query an inventory database to see if something's in stock before routing an order, for example.
Makes sense.
Then there are unstructured content repositories, documents, PDFs, company wikis, knowledge bases. An agent helping a customer might pull relevant snippets from a product manual using semantic search, understanding the meaning, not just keywords. Knowledge graphs are another powerful type. They map out entities and relationships. So an agent could say, traverse the graph
Yeah.
to find all the subsidiaries of a particular company. Very useful for complex reasoning.
I can see that.
And real-time data streams are crucial for many applications. Sensor data from a factory floor, live financial market data, social media feeds.
So an agent could react instantly.
Exactly. An IoT agent in a smart factory might monitor machine sensor data packaged as a stream and proactively adjust settings to prevent issues.
Wow. Any others?
Yeah, though there are also metadata products. These are things like data catalogs that describe other data products, what's available, its quality, how to access it, helps agents discover the right data. There's even an initiative called the Open Data Product Specification, ODPS, trying to standardize this.
Interesting. Standardization helps.
Definitely. And you could even have composite AML model products, where one agent uses another AI model, like an image recognition API, as a tool to get contextual signals.
So these data products are essentially machine-friendly packages of information ready for AI.
That's a great way to put it. Accessible, reliable, machine-friendly.
Okay, conceptually that makes sense, but how does it all actually work? What's the architecture under the hood that lets an agent use all these different data products?
Right, the architecture is key. It's got several core components working together. At the center, you usually have an agent orchestration layer.
The agent's brain.
Kind of, yeah. It's the mission control. It coordinates the agent's activities, manages its plan, maintains its state. It decides when to think, when to query a data product, or when to use a tool or take an action. Frameworks like LangChain or maybe Domo's Agent Catalyst handle this, often using patterns like react, reason, and act.
Okay, the orchestrator. What else?
You need the memory storage and retrieval system we talked about. This provides that long-term memory and context. Often uses things like vector databases for semantic search, especially on unstructured data. It lets the agent recall relevant past info or find the right document snippet.
So it searches based on meaning, not just keywords.
Exactly. And you might have different indexes for different data types, documents, code, maybe even structured data accessed via standard queries. Then there's knowledge integration with agent reasoning. The data retrieved from memory or data products needs to be fed into the LLM's prompt effectively. This is the core of already informing the model's logic. There are even emerging standards like the Model Context Protocol, MCP, trying to streamline this context exchange.
So the retrieved data actually guides the AI's thinking.
Precisely. And then to do things, agents need a tool action interface. This is how they call external services or APIs, maybe a weather API or an API, to update your CRM.
That sounds like it needs to be secure.
Absolutely critical. You need a secure sandbox and strict controls over what actions an agent is permitted to take. Interestingly, fetching data can sometimes blur the line between retrieval and action if the action is just querying another system. Underpinning all this are the underlying AI models, usually LLMs, providing the reasoning and language power. But agentic systems add layers on top iterative loops, validation steps like chain of thought or tree of thoughts to make sure the retrieved data doesn't mislead the model.
Okay. And if you have multiple agents?
Then you need communication and collaboration protocols. Things like Google's agent-to-agent, A2A, or Solus's agent mesh are emerging to let agents share information, coordinate tasks, and maintain a sort of global context in real time, like a digital team.
Wow, okay. One more layer.
A very important one.
Yeah.
The data management and governance layer. This enforces access controls, ensuring agents only see data. They're allowed to log usage for audits and integrates with data catalogs. It's vital for security, compliance, and trust.
That's quite a sophisticated setup. So bringing it all together, what does this architecture actually enable businesses to do? What are the standout capabilities for you?
Well, it unlocks some really powerful capabilities. First, efficient context retrieval. Agents can quickly pull relevant, up-to-date info from potentially huge data sets. Speed matters.
Right.
Second, stateful memory management. That combo of short-term and long-term memory means agents can handle long, complex tasks over time without losing their place.
Which is crucial for real business processes.
Absolutely. Third, that tool data product integration. Seamlessly moving from thinking to doing querying a finance data product, then calling an API to execute a trade, for instance.
Makes them actionable.
Exactly. Fourth, scalability and parallelism. You can scale horizontally, running many agent instances. They can act like specialized microservices, and you can easily add new data sources using those standard protocols we mentioned.
Handles large workloads.
Definitely. And fifth, real-time context updates. Because components can be event-driven, new information like stock levels changing can be pushed to relevant agents immediately, allowing them to react dynamically.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful from a technical standpoint, but let's switch gears to the business side. For an executive listening, what does this translate to? What are the real concrete benefits?
That's the crucial question, right? The benefits are significant and hit the bottom line. A major one is enhanced decision-making and insights. Agents analyze complex data way faster than humans.
Faster insights.
Much faster. Think about identifying a supply chain bottleneck. An agent monitoring relevant data products might spot it in minutes instead of hours or days. That leads to better, quicker decisions.
I can see the value there. What else?
Huge gains in operational efficiency and automation. Agents take over routine, labor-intensive tasks. We're seeing reports of 50–70% reductions in manual effort for things like generating standard reports.
Wow, 50–70%.
Yeah, in certain areas. Another striking example is in cybersecurity. An AI, acting like an SOC analyst, was reported to filter out 90% of false positive alerts, slashing the mean time to respond from hours down to minutes.
That's a massive impact.
It really is. And it also leads to improved accuracy and consistency. Because agents can diligently cross-reference info against trusted data products, they reduce human error and also help mitigate the risk of AI hallucinations.
Making the output more reliable.
Exactly. One financial firm reported near-zero calculation errors in complex quarterly reports after implementing AI agents tethered to their core financial data products.
Okay, efficiency, accuracy. What about customers?
Big benefits there, too. Personalization and customer experience gains. These context-aware agents can deliver highly personalized interactions at scale. By tapping into that Customer 360 data product, for example, an agent can tailor responses, offers, or support based on that individual's history and preferences. This agentic personalization is showing double-digit percentage lifts in things like click-through rates and conversions, and also reducing customer churn.
Personalization that actually scales.
Right. And then there's speed and agility, real-time operations. Agents analyzing streaming data can act immediately.
Like the supply chain example.
Exactly. Rerouting shipments instantly if there's a disruption. Or a finance agent executing trades in milliseconds. Or in cybersecurity, reducing that dwell time, how long an attacker is undetected, because the agent reacts instantly to suspicious patterns in network data streams.
So machine speed for business operations?
Precisely. It also means scalability and consistent performance. Agents can handle massive workloads non-linearly, providing consistent quality whether it's 10 inquiries or 10,000. And this all helps realize the value of existing data investments, finally bridging that gap between having data and getting real-time, actionable outcomes from it.
Those are compelling benefits. Do we have any specific ROI numbers or case studies that really drive this home?
Yeah, there are some good examples emerging. One global bank used an agentic system for customer onboarding. They cut the time down from about 2 weeks to just 2 days.
2 weeks to 2 days.
Yes. And that led to a 20% increase in completed onboardings, which they valued in the millions of dollars annually.
Wow.
Another one, a manufacturing company. They implemented agents for preventive maintenance, using sensor data products from their machines. They saw a 30% reduction in unplanned downtime within the first year.
Huge savings there.
Absolutely. And in marketing, one company used an agent to dynamically optimize ad spend across campaigns based on real-time performance data products. They achieved a 15% higher ROI for the same ad budget.
So real measurable impact across different functions.
Definitely. These aren't just marginal improvements. They represent significant value creation.
So how does this compare to, say, just using a standard automation tool or even just a basic chatbot without all this data integration?
It's a big leap. Compared to static automation, like RPA scripts, agentic AI is far more flexible and intelligent. It can handle variations and unexpected situations by reasoning, whereas a script would just break.
More adaptable.
Much more. Compared to purely human processes, it offers incredible speed and scale, 24/7 operation, freeing up people for strategic thinking. And compared to a plain LLM assistant one that doesn't have access to these data products, the agentic approach provides far superior accuracy and utility.
Because it can check facts.
Exactly.
Yep.
It actively retrieves and grounds its responses in specific, reliable data sources, rather than just relying on its general training knowledge, which can be outdated or wrong. It's really an activation layer for your data.
Okay, the benefits are clear. But it sounds complex. Nothing this powerful comes without challenges, right? What are the hurdles or pitfalls businesses need to be aware of?
You're absolutely right. It's not magic, and there are significant challenges. One area is still technical limitations in memory and context. LLM context windows are growing, but still finite. Effectively retrieving the most relevant piece of information from potentially vast data stores at scale is hard. And making agents truly learn and build long-term memory automatically is still an active research area.
So getting the right context reliably is still tricky.
It can be. Then there's the classic data quality and preparation issue. Garbage in, garbage out is amplified massively here.
Because the agent acts on the bad data.
Precisely. And it can act very quickly and at scale. So a small error in a data product could lead to widespread incorrect actions. This demands a really robust, ongoing data governance. You can't just set it up and forget it.
Integration is probably tough too.
Yes, integration complexity and scalability. Hooking these agents into diverse enterprise systems, especially older legacy systems, can be complex and costly. And the sheer volume of queries agents might generate in real time can put a strain on existing systems and databases. Scaling the agent orchestration of vector databases also presents challenges.
Okay. What about security? Agents accessing data.
Huge concern. Security and access control are paramount. You need extremely granular controls to ensure an agent only accesses the specific data points it needs for its task and nothing more. Permissions have to be managed carefully, often requiring sophisticated filtering based on metadata
Preventing data leaks.
or inappropriate actions. Then there's accountability and governance. How do you oversee and audit the decisions made by potentially thousands of autonomous agents? Establishing clear lines of responsibility when an agent makes a mistake is difficult, especially given the somewhat black box nature of current LLMs. Transparency is a challenge.
The oversight problem.
Exactly, which links to the risk of errors and automation amplification. If an agent has a flawed logic or acts on bad data, it can make mistakes much faster and potentially on a much larger scale than a human.
How do you mitigate that?
Careful design, phased rollouts, maybe starting in shadow mode where the agent suggests actions but a human approves.
Yeah.
Continuous monitoring is key, having humans in the loop for critical decisions and constraining the agent's possible actions.
Makes sense. Any other hurdles?
Yes, user trust and change management. Employees might distrust the technology, fear job displacement. Customers might be skeptical. Building trust through transparency, demonstrating value, and focusing on how agents augment human capabilities is vital.
The people side is crucial.
Always. And related are ethical and bias concerns. Agents trained on historical data can perpetuate existing biases. Bias audits, careful data selection, and maybe techniques like constitutional AI to encode ethical guidelines are needed. Plus, the thorny question of who is liable if an AI causes harm.
Big ethical questions.
Definitely. And regulatory and compliance issues. Navigating rules like GDPR, IPA, or the upcoming EU AI Act is complex. Issues like data residency, the right to explanation, and consent for data usage all need careful handling when agents are involved.
Compliance adds another layer.
It does. And finally, just basic performance and reliability. These systems have many moving parts. The LLM, the data pipelines, the APIs, the orchestrator. A failure in any one part can impact the agent, so you need robust engineering, monitoring, and fallbacks.
So, quite a list of challenges, but you sound optimistic they can be managed.
I am optimistic. These are serious challenges, but they're not insurmountable. The industry is actively developing solutions, better governance tools, more transparent models, improved security frameworks, best practices for deployment. It requires careful planning, investment, and ongoing vigilance, but the potential upside is enormous.
Okay, looking ahead then. If these challenges are being tackled, what's next? Where is this heading in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? What should we expect?
The pace of change is incredible, so predicting is tough, but some trends seem clear. We'll definitely see advancements in memory and contextualization. Expect much larger context windows. People are talking about million token context being feasible soon.
1 million tokens?
Yeah, potentially allowing an agent to absorb huge amounts of information. We'll also see more sophisticated memory systems, maybe hierarchical ones, enabling more nuanced recall and continuous learning, blurring the line between the static model and dynamic knowledge.
So agents become even more knowledgeable.
And adaptable. Another big one is integration of multimodal data. Agents won't just process text. They'll increasingly understand and reason about images, audio, video, sensor data.
Like that retail example.
Exactly. An agent assessing stock levels from shelf photos, or maybe analyzing factory machine sounds for predictive maintenance, or interpreting medical images.
Wow. What else?
Federated and decentralized AI agents. This is interesting. Agents could collaborate across organizational boundaries, or even run on user devices without needing to centralize all the raw data. Imagine hospitals sharing insights derived by agents without sharing patient data itself. Agents might even negotiate and purchase access to data products on decentralized marketplaces.
Collaboration without data sharing. That's powerful.
Very. We'll also see more edge AI and IoT integration, agents running directly on machinery, vehicles, or sensors, for instance, local decision-making,
Yeah.
while still coordinating with cloud-based data and models.
Intelligence moving to the edge.
Right. And the interaction will get better. More natural interaction and human-agent collaboration. Think agents you can talk to naturally that join virtual meetings, proactively suggest updates to plans, or work alongside humans in shared digital environments like VR.
True digital teammates.
That's the vision. We'll also see more standardization and best practices emerge, things like the Open Data Product Specification, ODPS for data, and protocols like A2A or MCP for agent communication. This will make integration easier and reduce vendor lock-in.
Making it easier to build these systems.
Hopefully. And maybe even self-optimizing systems, where agents not only use data products, but actively help improve them, suggesting data cleaning steps or identifying quality issues.
Agents improving the data they consume. Interesting loop.
It is. All this enables new applications and disruptions. We could see personal AI agents managing complex life tasks like finances or negotiations. AI playing a bigger role in creative fields. AI-driven decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs. Big impacts on public sector decision-making, personalized education, and accelerating scientific discovery.
So potentially transformative across many sectors.
Absolutely. It implies significant shifts in the workforce, the potential reshaping of entire industries like consulting or auditing, and changes in the overall data economy.
This really does paint a picture of a fundamentally changed business landscape.
Yeah.
So boiling it down for the executive listener, what's the strategic imperative here? What should they be doing now?
The strategic mandate is, I think, becoming quite clear. Agentic AI integrated with data products isn't just a tech trend, it's evolving into a strategic must-have. It's about fundamentally rewiring how decisions get made and how operations run, unlocking that speed and scale needed to compete.
So ignoring it isn't really an option.
Not if you want to stay competitive long-term. The concrete benefits are too significant. The efficiency gains, cost savings, better customer experiences, faster innovation cycles, these are real business drivers.
And the impact on people and roles.
It means an evolution of roles. Data teams become more like agent architects and trainers. Domain experts work with AI advisors. The focus should be on augmentation, empowering your workforce, which means investing in reskilling and training.
Change management sounds critical again.
Absolutely. Leadership needs to drive this, communicate clearly, build trust, manage expectations, and proactively prepare the workforce for this shift.
What about investment?
Resource allocation needs to reflect this strategic importance. It's not just buying AI software. It's investing in data readiness, maturing your data products, developing talent, and building the right infrastructure. Starting with focused pilot projects that have a clear ROI is often a good approach.
Prove the value, then scale.
Exactly. And crucially, embedding governance and risk mitigation from the start. Developing your AI governance framework, defining ethical principles, setting up robust monitoring, and ensuring you're compliant with regulations. It needs to be proactive, not an afterthought.
So it requires a balance, boldness, but also caution.
That's a perfect way to put it. Be bold in seizing the opportunities this technology presents, but be cautious and deliberate in the implementation. Focus relentlessly on aligning the technology with core business strategy and value creation.
Well, that's a fantastic overview. Lots to think about there. In closing, here's a thought. As AI agents become the eyes and ears of our data, imagine what challenges or perhaps entirely new opportunities will arise when they also gain a voice to negotiate and transact on behalf of the business. How might your organization prepare for that truly autonomous future? Thank you for joining the podcast and see you soon.